Hey everybody, so for tonight's homework, you were doing number 2, number 4, 6, 8, and 10. And we're using fraction bars to find the equivalent fraction or the same denominator so that we can add. Okay, so let's take a look at this first one. This is 2/3 plus 3/4. So I am actually going to be using, in the other classes, we had the 1 bar. That way we can see it. Here, they're going to show it here. I have 1/2 and then 1 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 equals 3/4. I'm needing to find which fraction bar I could use for the 1/3 or the 2/3 as well as the 3/4. Well, I'm going to just kind of go through here, and it says that it's 1/3, and I need to go smaller than that. And I have the 1/4, which is bigger. Okay, so I have my fraction bar, and it says for the 2/3. I'm going to go ahead and place down 2/3. I went ahead and sorted out, so it'd be easier to find. So I sorted it from thirds and fourths. The first period, you have one that we made in class. The other 2 classes, I used a different one because it had this one here. So I'll give those to y'all tomorrow. You can take home in color. So it says that I need it 2/3, and then the next one is going to be 3/4. Well, I want you to think about it. Is this fraction going to be greater than or less than 1? That's already 2/4. I need 3 of them. Yeah, it's going to be greater than 1, right? So I have it that way. It's going to be greater than 1. So I know that it's going to be a mixed number because it's greater than 1. And now I need to find a fraction bar that share the same denominator as 1/3 and 1/4. Well, I need a smaller piece, so I'm going to go into my fifths because it'll take more pieces to fill in. So I'm looking at my 1/3. Well, 1/5. So let's just take a look at here. That's going to be 2/5 is equivalent to 1/3. Will that work? Nope, so that won't work. I need to find what's going to go into what will be the equivalent to 1/3 as well as the 1/4. And I'm just going to pull those out so that you can see it. All right, so that doesn't work. Now I'm going to try the 1/6. Well, I know that 1/2/6 is equivalent to 1/3, but will the 6 work for the 1/4? That's that one right there. Nope, it's going to be too big. So that doesn't work. I need to keep going smaller. So the next one is the 8th. Remember, as your denominator increases, the smaller the pieces are. I move this cursor out of the way. Excuse me, my allergies are affecting me. So that's 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. Well, that's not going to work right there. So I know it won't work for the 1/3. But will it work? Yeah, see, it'll work for the 1/4, but it also has to work for the 1/3. So the 8ths don't work out. I have to keep going smaller. The numbers have to be bigger. The denominators have to be bigger because then my size piece gets smaller. So let's try the 1/10. This is going to be 2/10. And I want you to start looking at patterns. And then that way you'll know, oh, that will never work. So this one's not going to work, right? Because 1, 2, 3, 4/10 is it's greater than 1/3. So I'm going to move it over here. That's already 2/10. What if I add it to the 3/10? Nope, too big. 3/10 is greater than 1/4. 2/10 is less than 1/4, so those won't work. So now I have to go to a larger denominator, so the sizes are much smaller. And now I'm going to go to my 12ths. Okay, so look at this one right here. Yes, I have 1, 2, 3, 4/12 is equal to 1/3. And let's see about the others. And you won't have enough of the 12ths. You already know that. So come through here and figure out what you'll be needing for each one. All right, for the 1/4, I know that it's going to be 1, 2, 3/12. So this is the case. I had 2/3 is going to equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's going to equal to 8/12. And then my 3/4, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So those will be 9/12. 8 plus 9 equals 17/12. I know that that's not a proper fraction. It is improper. But I also know that 17/12 is greater than 1 because 12 over 12 is equal to 1. So I'm going to remove that. And now I'm left with 17 minus 5 equals 5/12. I put this up here. And again, I won't have enough. I'm going to be left with, this was 3, 4, 5. So if you can kind of get that visual. And this is where it stops. So here you'll have that one whole and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 twelfths left over. Okay. And so the answer is 1 and 5/12. So that's what you're going to be doing this evening, is pulling out all the fraction bars. And I'm going to put these back in their correct stack so that I don't get them confused, so I can easily take out what I need. So I'm going to put my thirds back with my thirds, my fourths back with my fourths. Now, some of you did a not so great of a job on a poor job of putting these back into your Ziploc bag. So if you get home and you're working on these, yours will not be complete because I found a lot on the floor that I've picked up. And then when the custodian came in here, those all got swept away. So we don't know who goes with which because they're left on the floor. So we have no idea. If you're needing a new sheet, let me know, because this is the way you're going to be looking at, and it's important to visualize. It's just to look at and to see why they're not equivalent to each other. Let's look at number 4. I have my one bar up. Now the other class, Miss Martinez's class, you won't have this one, but the other classes do. Okay, now I need to look at the sixes, and I need to have 5 of them. So I'm going to count out 1 6, 2 6, 3 6, 4 6, 5 6. And then I need 1/2. So I'm going to get my 1/2 here. Looking at this one right here, is the answer going to be greater than 1? Absolutely. So you're going to end up getting a mixed number because you can already see that it's going to be greater than 1, because this is your benchmark 1. So now I need to find out, well, I need smaller pieces to go into the 1/2. So since I already have the 1 6, I'm going to check to see if I can use more of the 1/6. So it's 1/6. Ah, it keeps popping up. 2/6 and 3/6. Okay, so there we go. 3/6 is equal to 1/2. So I'm going to place this one here. It's 3/6 plus 5/6. Oh, that's supposed to be a 5. That equals to 8/6. I know that there's going to be, I can take one whole out of that one. It'll be 6/6 is one whole. That's left with 2/6. But look at this. These are two even numbers, right? And so I have 1 and 2/6, which is also the same as they're even numbers. So I can have 2 in half, which means it's divisible by 2. Whatever I do to the top, I've got to do to the bottom. So it's to the numerator and the denominator. I can cut those both in half by dividing them by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And so I end up getting 1 and 1/3. If I look here, if I go to my 1/3, and I think I'm going to switch this out with this one here, and then switch these with the other one. Because here is where I was left with that, and that's where it's at. So you have to kind of make sure that they're lined up right, so that I'm flipped. So I have all my 6's, and I have that one whole, and then I was left with 2 6's, or it's equivalent to 1/3. Okay. All right, let's move to the next. Just make sure that you line it. This is why I wanted you to cut these straight. I have 2 different sets in here, so I have to be really careful. We're looking at number 6, 1/4 plus 2/3. I'm getting my benchmark, my one whole. I am going to get my 1/4 and my 2/3. So these are my 1/3 and 2/3. Now I need to look. Which fraction bar can I use that will have the same denominator for both of these? Okay, I need to go smaller, so it means my number needs to go higher, right? So let me try the 1/5. Can 1/5, can't have 1/5 because it's smaller than the 1/4. I can't have the 2/5 because it's too big for the 1/3, and only 1/5 is too small for the 1/3. So I'm going to put those back. The 1/6 is a little bit smaller. It won't work for the 1/4. It's either too small or 2/6 is larger than 1/4. I can use 2/6 for 1/3, but remember I have to find the same denominator, and that won't work with it. So the 6's won't work. Well, I already know that the 8's on the other one, my 4's, they don't work. So I'm going to jump all the way and see what about my 12's. Well, looking at here, I already know that there'll be 1, 2, I need tweezers just to hold these. So it's going to be 3, twelfths is equal to 1/4. And then how many thirds? 1. And we did that over here, right? Remember that? 2, 3, and 4. And I don't have I've got to find the other ones that will finish that up. So looking at the 1/4, I'm going to change this one to 3/12. Those are equivalent. Plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because I have to continue because there's 2/3 of it. So it's 8/12. So adding this up, 8, 9, 10, 11 twelfths. And that will work out because I'm going to be 1/12 shy of 1 whole. Let's look at number 8. 3/5 and 3/10. So I'm going to need how many fifths? There you go. I need 3 of them. So this is 1/5, 2/5, and 3/5. And this one right here is 3/10. Well, they're smaller. Oh, well, maybe I'll have something here. 1/10, 2/10, and 3/10. I need to see how I can get the same denominator. Well, look at this. 5. What can I do? I know that if I have 5 times 2 is 10. So if I use 2/10, that'll work, right? And then I would need 2 more. I thought I had them. I guess I don't have all of them. All right, so now let's go ahead and figure this one out. For my 1, 2, 3 fifths, it's going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just pretend that those are there. So it's 6/10. Plus my 3/10 equals, remember my denominator stays the same. Several of you changed the denominator on that quiz we had on Friday. Don't do that. It stays the same when you're adding or subtracting. And then this is 9/10. Well, look at this. It's about right because you are 1/10 shy of a whole. And that's what it's representing there. And then for number 10, now I'm going to have 7/10. So let me remove my fifths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know I had, there we go, here's 7. So there's 7/10 plus 1/2. And when I place that 1/2, does it mean that it's going to be greater than 1 whole? Yes, it is. So what can I continue? Yeah, you're right. So if you said I can continue on with my tenths, you're absolutely right. Now, I don't have enough tenths. I know that this is going to stay the same. So I'm going to have 7/10. How many tenths do you think are going to equal to the 1/2 so that we can have the same denominator? Ooh, I heard some people saying, well, 5, because 5 times 2 is 10. So let's see. That's 4 and 5. Very good. So here I changed it from 2 to 10 because it took 5 1/10 to make a half. So for my 1/2, it's going to be 5/10. Going to add those up. 7 times 5 is 12. I already know it's greater than 1, so I'm going to go ahead and take 1 whole out because 10/10 is equal to 1 whole. I have 2/10 left over. They're both even numbers, right? Which means that they're divisible by 2. I can cut those in half. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5. And let me see, is 2/10 equal to 1/5? And there you go. That is correct. So the answer is going to be 1 1/5. That's all you needed to do this evening, Ms. Workman's group. Some of you did the other ones. If you didn't get that done, we'll go over it tomorrow, and then I'll go over the answers. Y'all have a great night, and happy Valentine's Day to everybody, and thank you so much for the wonderful gifts, and I hope that you have a great evening, and I will see you tomorrow.